Yo, welcome back to Herbistry420. I'm your host, Fordee. Today we're gonna make sour gummies, baby. What? Now, when I say make sour gummies, I mean take gummies that we've already made and make them sour. Now, if you don't know how to make gummies, check out episode 1 or part 1 of my Gummies for Dummies series. It'll make it super easy for you. Follow that basic recipe. By the way, I'm about to do the next part in that series on how to change textures and make another recipe for gummies. So stay tuned for that. So down here, let's switch to the other camera. Down here, you're gonna see I have these strawberry gummies right here. These puppies are drying. And the reason that I have these two sets is I wanted to show you kind of my drying process. So it depends on how many I'm making, right? The reality is these are single small batches and in this type of mold, right? Let me show you. In this type of mold right here, this batch makes like 40 something gummies, right? So it's cool. If I wanted to make a bigger batch, I would actually dry them differently. But when I make a small batch like that, what I do is I bring them out. There's a fan right here. I turn the fan on and then I leave them in the mold for a while, right? Because I don't have any room in the fridge. If I had room in the fridge, I could put them in there for 30 minutes, let them set, take them out, and then demold them. And then what I do is I put them on a cutting board or something, and I flip them. You might be saying, why aren't you putting them on a wire rack? If you put these on a wire rack and you put them on too soon, what will happen is they will start to droop and change their form, basically. So what I do is I put them on these cutting boards and I flip them over. Let's go to this other camera, right? And so what I'll do is every hour or 2 hours, I'll flip them over and I'll do this until they feel like they're not sticky, they're not wet, etc. So this is at the point, these red ones, they're at the point where we can toss them in our custom granulated sugar citric acid mixture, right? So right here, these have just been finished today or recently, and I need to demold them, but they're not at that point yet. Let me show you on this camera, right? Because I never put them in the fridge, if I tried to demold them, I think I tried to do this one before I did the thing, and I pull this apart. Notice it's really sticking to stuff. So I'm gonna leave this, and maybe in an hour or 2 hours or whatever, I'll come and I'll unmold them. I'll put them on this cutting board right here. I'll leave them with the fan on for a few hours, then I'll flip them over. We'll leave that for a few hours, and within a day, they should be dry. Now, how do you make sour gummies? Basically, in this cup right here is all you need. I have 50 grams of granulated white sugar, and then I have half of a teaspoon of citric acid. You can get, obviously, sugar anywhere. Citric acid you can get on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. Put that inside a container, mix it up, and the reason I brought this Tupperware is we can go ahead and put this inside the Tupperware, throw the gummies in the Tupperware, shake it up, and then take them out, and they'll be coated, right? So let's go ahead and open this up. I'm gonna go ahead and put this mixture in here, right? And so again, it's just 50 grams of granulated sugar, and depending on the size of your batch, you know, if you do something bigger than this, then of course increase in these ratios, right? 50 grams white sugar, half of a teaspoon of citric acid. Now, could you put a teaspoon of citric acid? You could, but the reality is citric acid is so powerful. You should start small and on your first try, do the measurements I'm saying. Just if it's not sour enough for you, you could go ahead and add a little more. Consequently, you could add like a quarter teaspoon of citric acid into your gummies when you're making them as well. So anyways, without further ado, let me dump these red strawberry gummies in here. And we are just gonna throw all of them into this Tupperware. We're gonna shake it up and then we're gonna take them out and we're gonna have sour gummies, right? In fact, I might actually leave them in this container. We'll see. Now there's gonna be excess. You know, the stuff that we put in here is definitely gonna cover all these gummies and we'll have a little extra. I'll move the cutting board out of the way. We'll move this out of the way. Let's go ahead and put the top on. All right, so, and all we're doing is shaking this up, right? It's that simple, right? Now they're pretty much all coated. Let's take one out and give it a try. I mean, these are 50 milligrams, so this is gonna change how the rest of my day goes. All right, so let's go to this other camera. Look at this, right? Now, the most important thing for me to tell you is that if you make this, make sure your gummies are dry. If they're not dry and you do this, they will look like this, but they're gonna melt because your gummies need to be dry in order to take this mixture. Otherwise, what's gonna happen is they're just going, the citric acid and the sugar is just gonna make it melt. So make sure they're fully dry before you do this step. Let's go back to this camera. Let me take one out. And just look how pretty this looks, right? And so this is the finished piece, right? Now you could leave this in here. Obviously there's excess in here, that doesn't matter. I could store this in the fridge. There is mold inhibitor in here. So I mean, it's gonna last for months in the fridge. You don't even have to put it in the fridge, right? And I don't know if you could hear, we have some downstairs blazing on the horn. Anyways, let's give it a try. These gummies are so good, yo. So, really light, right? Not a crazy sour in your face. If I wanted to make them a little more sour, what I could do is do this, but when I was making the gummies, put like a 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid in the gummies. That would have helped make them a little more sour. If I want them to be more sour than this, instead of using 1/2 teaspoon, we could use 1 teaspoon. But again, if you use too much, some people are not gonna like this, right? Some people don't want their mouth to invert like you're eating a lemon, you know what I mean? And so I think 1/2 teaspoon is a good spot. Anyways, again, super easy. Guys, gals, everybody. My YouTube karate moves are for this guy downstairs leg on the horn. Anyways, guys, gals, everybody, I hope you like this video. If you did, blah, 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 it's like I'm doing an auction, yo. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. You know the deal, baby. Woo-hoo! Till next time. I'm out!